Have Skydance, the new owners of Paramount, been advised by their own people to cancel Star Trek? Welcome to the Tachyon Pulse podcast, part of the scitrek family.
Our tachyon pulse has been unable to completely penetrate the anomaly.
So, if you're a regular scitrek, you'll know that I dropped exclusively a little while ago that actually Skydance were running a review of everything going on with all of the major franchises under the Paramount umbrella. That they were preparing to take over this vast company, and they were doing their homework. Part of that meant that there was actually a review done, a strategic review done of Star Trek and Secret Hideout. This was done by representatives from Skydance, people that are already over at Paramount that was selected again by Skydance, and some external consultants and PR people. It is the external consultants, etc., is how I got to find out about it, and I actually got to see some of the reviews. I only didn't get to see the full part, but I got to see sort of like an abstract of some of the reviews. What were they looking at? So they looked at plans for the next 5 years. They looked at cost. They looked at cost to benefit ratios. They looked at hours on Paramount Plus. They looked at revenue from merchandise, etc. And then they together created a recommendation. Now, I told you at the time there was a recommendation to basically what they said was, if you remove Secret Hideout from Star Trek, there will be a short-term financial impact, but that will be offset by a long-term financial gain as you regain control of the Star Trek franchise. Now, I can actually tell you a little bit more than that, because apparently the recommendation did go further. Apparently, they did actually say that over a 5 to 10 year period, it would be more beneficial to Paramount as a brand and financially. Now, that is important. I'll explain the difference in a second. As a brand and financially, it would be more beneficial to Paramount if they cancelled Star Trek at the end of the Secret Hideout deal. That would basically allow them to complete season 5 of Strange New Worlds, and all other projects would be then cancelled. We would not see a second season of Academy, and anything else in the works that currently Alex Kurtzman and Secret Hideout think they're going to get done won't happen. Apparently, they did look at the possibility of Paramount and their new owners over at Skydance buying out Alex Kurtzman, but the opinion of the people making the report was that that would not have any long-term benefit. So, what does this mean, and what is the difference between brand and cost benefit? For one of the things they looked at was the effect of Star Trek on the overall brand of Paramount, and the way they do that is by looking at a sort of metadata. Clicks on YouTube, clicks on different stories, clicks on all the different social media and things, and the comments that are made. They looked for specific words within as much of that data as they could find, and to create basically trends. The idea being to look at how many of the comments are positive, how many are negative. They look at videos on YouTube. I'm sure, a couple of our videos might have even popped up in this data, I don't know. But it all creates this meta points. And these are all specific points on, big graphs that tell them, generally speaking, within different demographics, is the opinion towards Star Trek within the fan base positive or negative. They found that it was largely positive, I will be honest, but significantly negative. Now, they actually, apparently, speaking to the person I got to speak to, they run this through statistics, so it's not just based on when somebody says something good or when somebody says something bad. Because when people who do these and crunch these numbers have done studies, they found that people are more likely to comment on something that's negative than something that's positive. So if you watch Star Trek and you don't like it, like I did when I watched the the musical, you're more likely to then comment something socially saying, I bloody hated that. But if you watch a Star Trek episode and you liked it, you're less likely to immediately pick up your phone and go, so they know that, and they have a ratio. So say if you might get 500 negative comments and only 100 positive comments, but by this ratio they know that actually that's a good thing, sort of thing. So there's that. The next thing really is what they looked at is that they realised the negativity, it does negatively affect the brand. And by that it means that people not only won't subscribe to Paramount Plus for Star Trek, they won't subscribe to Paramount Plus because of Star Trek. And again, doing the statistical analysis or whatever, they come up with a number and a figure for that. Now I don't know what that figure was, but I'm being told, again, it's significant. And that it is actually harming the brand to there's a number that actually has a numerical value, a financial value, and they said it is actually harming the brand to this much. That is obviously a problem when it's one of the cornerstones of your Paramount Plus. It's basically that and Yellowstone as make Star Trek Paramount Plus at the moment. There are lots of other things and movies, etc., but those are the two things that are really supposed to be your, that you underpin everything else off. And it's harming the brand. There is also a financial harm because Star Trek is significantly expensive, and cost to actually hours ratio apparently is average at best. And now there's some variation in that, because apparently Lower Decks is significantly better on that ratio than, say, Strange New Worlds. The last season of Discovery was apparently quite poor, based on this ratio between hours and cost. So there's that. It's financially not beneficial, and it's in some ways harming the brand. Now, I'm going to say in some ways because it depends on different demographics, and I'm told that it is far more positive in a younger demographic than a slightly older demographic. And it really just depends on what Skydance decide to put the importance on. So, the recommendation was that there is no immediate financial benefit to buying out Alex Kurtzman and attempting to continue in some ways current Star Trek, and that would be the only reason really to buy Alex Kurtzman out, is if you wanted to basically buy Secret Hideout so you could continue things like Strange New Worlds without any IP issues. Because again, if you're a regular Sci-Trekker, you'll know that even though Paramount own the intellectual property of Star Trek, anything original done by Secret Hideout is technically owned by them. So, if you continued Strange New Worlds, you wouldn't be able to continue anything that was original by Secret Hideout. So, certain characters would have to leave, you wouldn't be able to reference certain storylines and things like that. So, no point buying out Secret Hideout. Fine. They did actually go a little bit further though and said that a reset would be beneficial in the long term. So they have the 5 to 10 year look, and then they have the 10 year plus look. And they said 5 to 10 year, there would be some benefit to resetting and starting a new project within that time frame. But 10 years plus, there would be a significant financial advantage and creative advantage to doing that. So it would basically mean we'd have no Star Trek on our screens for a year or two, at least. But it would mean we'd have no more Kurtzman, and that. I would always argue, and I know that there were people at Paramount before the redundancies at the end of last year that were arguing that Star Trek is too complicated, there's too many timelines going on, and for the sort of average viewer, that is a problem. By average viewer, I mean the people that sort of like will flit in and out of Star Trek. They equate for about 60% of the viewership that will watch it but aren't like hardened, fans that, notice every little thing and will watch the YouTube videos on it, and etc, etc. They only equate to about 40% of your actual fan base. Having lots of different timelines, lots of different stories going on is difficult for a fan that maybe isn't quite as engaged as the other 40%. So their argument was simplify it, have one timeline, and go back to something that's a little bit more Monster of the Week style that will allow a larger audience to stay engaged. I would also argue, though, that go back to the Prime Universe, because that's what we like and that's what we want. And if you don't listen to the fans, well, you're an idiot. So, yeah. But guys, get into the comments and tell me what you think. Do you want to see it reset and go back to the prime timeline? Even if that means we're not going to get any Star Trek for a couple of years, because they would have to let the secret hideout contract run down, and then they would have to take the time to figure out what they're doing with the next one, and then it'll take, even once they green light something, it'll take at least 18 months to get to our screens. So is that a price worth paying for you? Get into the comments and tell me. Would you be happy as well knowing that you're only going to get one season, maybe 2 seasons of Academy, because anything that's in production at the point the contract ends, I'm told, that the contract allows them to complete, they would have time to complete the 5th season of Strange New Worlds, just apparently. But that would be it. We wouldn't have any more of that. We wouldn't have any more Academy. Is that fine with you? Get to the comments. If you are new to the channel, don't forget to like, subscribe, and have bell notification. We are brand new and we're growing quickly, so please share the video wherever you want, and make sure you hit the bell notifications so you don't miss any videos. Also, you can go to patreon.com/scitrek, where most of our new videos do premiere first, and you get to see them without the adverts, so go check that out. You can also become a member, and all of our videos drop a couple hours before for members, so, you know, do that. If you are, please don't forget to stay safe, and I will see you next time. I messed that ending up, didn't I? Just stay safe. You're fine.